Good morning. Gosh, we had a beautiful New Thought musical variety show last night. Some of you were there for that. It was just awesome. We are super blessed this morning to have all of you here, to have our friends joining us on Facebook as well, and especially to have our wonderful guests, Armand and Angelina. So before we get started, I want to just tell you very briefly about them. Armand is an award-winning songwriter and inspirational speaker whose enthusiastic presence inspires us all to love passionately. Angelina's heart-opening and angelic voice draws... It's going to be like this, right? Okay. Angelina's heart-opening and angelic voice draws from many languages. She was classically trained at Indiana University and was formerly with Epcot Center. They are international performers using songs, stories, and, I'll say, lots of humor to remind us now to open our hearts and remember that we are meant to experience heaven on earth. So you ready for heaven on earth today? Yes. So we're going to go ahead and remind you to please silence your cell phone if you haven't done so already. And then we'll say our statement of being together. There is a presence and a power expressing as me now. It is all-knowing, all-caring, all-loving, all-powerful. It is the completeness of the universe, individualized as me. It is who I am. It is what I am. It is the divine presence expressing as me now. And we do have a reading this morning, and then Fran is going to come up and give us that reading.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And today's word is light. And if you will all join with me in our affirmation. The light of truth dissolves all darkness. A bird's cheerful song interrupts the quiet night. The dark sky grows lighter and puffy clouds begin to glow with a beautiful shade of pink. Brilliant rays announce the sun's arrival. The sun peeks over the horizon, flooding the new day with light. Light dissolves darkness in my consciousness in a similar way. At a challenging time, my heart responds to the hopeful thought that this too shall pass. Hope grows into faith as my mind opens into divine wisdom that is always mine to claim. Guided by the dawning light of truth, I see the way forward and follow it with confidence. As surely as each new day brings a sunrise, my faith assures me that the light of truth will dissolve the darkness of any obstacle I may face. Once again, would you read with me our affirmation? The light of truth dissolves all darkness. And so it is.
Okay, we're going to teach you a very easy song. And
I wrote this song after hearing a New Thought minister at a conference, and he said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could start church every day with, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here with me. Did you know you're one with God for eternity? Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here with me. You're not a stranger anymore. Now you're family. Now we know we're all family with everybody in the world, but it starts in community like this. And by the way, this looks like a very good crowd. You know, we are setting a good example of showing up because, hello, everyone out there in Zoom world. We love you. You are awesome, okay? But community with physical bodies hanging out with each other, that's a special gift. So we're glad that so many of you came today. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here with me, and I will help you sing the song. It is number 12, I think. Got it. Welcome, welcome, I'm glad you're here with me. Did you know you're one with God? Did you know you're one with God for eternity? Welcome, 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 I'm glad you're here with me. You're not a stranger, you're not a stranger anymore. Now you're family. Okay, that was dress rehearsal. This is for real. Welcome, welcome, I'm glad you're here with me. Welcome, welcome, I'm glad you're here with me. Did you know you're one with God? Did you know you're one with God for eternity? Welcome, 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 I'm glad you're here with me. You're not a stranger. You're not a stranger anymore. Now you're family. You're not a stranger anymore here at Unity. All right. We're good again? Okay, so let's do another song that kind of goes in line with your statement of being. This is called "Your Will Is My Will Is God's Will." Now, there's one verse in this song. It's going to be very repetitive. So once we sing something once, we'll sing it a few more times. But there's one line in there that gets people kind of questioning, and that says, "If you think that you're not supported by your brother, sister, think again." And what that means is even the ones that give you fabulous support and the ones that don't seem to give you any support are ultimately supporting you as part of God's divine plan. Think of the amazing growth we've had by dealing with people that were not fun. Okay? And to me, one of the greatest gifts, and it's been very difficult for me to watch our country divided as much as it is that through that division, when we see how separate that feels, we can come back together. And so that is what I'm hoping that we will all do more of, and I'm already starting to notice it. I'm starting to notice it. We're letting things down, our guard down a little bit, and realizing that we really are all one family. This is your will, is my will, is God's will, because guess what? They all have in common one thing, spirit. And that is the truth of who we are. Ooh, I like that. Your will is my will, is God's will. We are one, that's your part. Your will is my will, is God's will. We are one. Your will is my will, is God's will. We are one. There is only one presence, one power, God the good. There is only one presence, one power, God the good. One more time. There is only one presence, one power, God the good. Whose will? Your will is my will, is God's will. We are one. Your will is my will, supported by your brother, sister, think again. If you think that you're not supported by your brother, sister, think again. If you think that you're not supported by your brother, sister, think again. Whose will? Your will is my will, is God's will. We are one. Your will is my will, is God's will. We are one. Just like the Macarena, we got hand movements. Your will is my will, is God's will. We are one. There is no place you need to get to. There is only here and now. There is no place you need to get to. There is only here and now. There is no place you need to get to, no matter what time zone. Here and now. Whose will? Your will is my will, is God's will. We are one. Your will is my will, is God's will. We are one. Everybody singing. Your will is my will, is God's will. We are one. So my phone knew what time it was, and my alarm knew what time it was. Angelina's alarm did not know what time it was and woke her up an extra hour early.
Yes.
Yesterday, I believe, I'm thinking it was on your page, Christy, on your Facebook page. I saw something about how important it is to let go of people that are not treating you the way you're supposed to. I'm pretty sure I saw that there. And I thought one of the greatest gifts that some people bring into our lives is to remind us that we need to set good boundaries. And Brene Brown has a wonderful thing. She says, if you want to trust someone when they say yes, hang around with someone who has a firm no. Because then you can really trust when they say yes, okay? And she also says that some of the most loving, compassionate people she knows are the ones that have the most defined boundaries. Because you can be a lot more wonderful to people in the world if you know what doesn't work for you and you set those boundaries. So we're going to invite you to take that sentiment into your meditation now. We're going to start off with a very simple chant. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. We'll sing that to get us going and remind us that, yes, we deserve to have people in our life that treat us wonderfully. And when we have someone that doesn't know how to do that, we lovingly accept them and let them go. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. And we know that in order to have peace, peace of mind, peace in our world, we need to know what works for us and what does not, and lovingly set clear boundaries. All the great masters have taught us that love is the greatest gift of all. We were taught, love thy neighbor as thyself. It did not say, like thy neighbor as thyself. We are not here to like and get along all the time with every being. The same way, if you love cold weather, don't live in Florida. There's nothing wrong with Florida. It's just not right for you. If you don't like cold weather, live in Florida. You see? It's as simple as that. If you go to a restaurant and the food does not taste good to you, no need to tell everyone how terrible the restaurant is. Stop eating there. It's simple. No need to beat yourself up and think that there's something wrong with your taste buds. Has anybody ever been with a person, a fabulous flower, whose fragrance didn't smell good to you, and beat yourself up because you're supposed to like everybody's fragrance? Been there. So we know that we have freedom of choice and that our inner guidance will let us know, just like your navigator. Certain times in life with jobs and people and climates, your inner navigator will say, redirecting route. And we can listen to that. Or we can go down the same street, fall in the same hole, and wonder what happened again. Allow the music now to take you deeper on your own sacred journey into knowing what works best for you so you can work best for others. Very gently now, begin to bring your attention to your physical body, the external world. That we navigate through but does not define us. You have a car and a home, but you are not your car or home. You have a physical body, but you are not your physical body. You are pure light, and that is eternal. Thank you, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, Goddess, all that is. And so it is. Amen. Angelina will lead us singing the Lord's Prayer, and I will speak the Aramaic. Abun de Boashmaya. Meet Gadashmach. Tete Makuta. Nachwai de Savinach. I cannot. The Boashmaya. O Baracha.
Give us this day
Allah Lachma.
our day.
Nesukna Yamana.
And forgive us our debt
Wash Woklan Habin.
as we
I cannot Dafnan.
forgive our debts.
Shwaken El Hayabin.
And leave us not
Ula Talan.
in temptation,
El Nisyona.
but deliver us
Ela Pasan.
from evil.
Mindisha.
For thine is the kingdom,
Mital Milaki Makuta.
the power,
Hala Ukishbokta.
and the glory
La Alam Amin. Amen. And we invite you to breathe these words in. These words given to us by the great way shower, Jesus the Christ, reminding us, yes, we are meant to experience heaven on earth, and we need prove no worthiness. Our worthiness is inherent. Amen. Oh. Thank you. I don't usually get that after a meditation. Awesome. So today's message is one of our newest messages. It's actually our brand newest message that we speak. And the words are, there's no such thing as rejection. Has anybody ever felt rejected? Now, these two look pretty different colors, pretty different sizes. You know, this one looks more masculine. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. These flowers identify as they. They do. Anyway, we have a lot of opportunities to look at who we are and to see what our prejudices are. And guess what? Here's how you can tell if you've gotten rid of all of your prejudices. You ready? It's awesome. You won't be here. There's some prejudice that still need to be looked at. And here's how you can tell if you've done all your forgiveness work. You won't be here. And the last frontier The Final Frontier, Stardate 2022. Self-forgiveness. That's a biggie. That's sometimes the deep, deep, deep work. Because the truth is, you forgive yourself and you don't have to work on forgiving other people. It'll be a domino effect. Same thing with self-love. I see Jesus and Buddha, I see them as loaded with self-love. Otherwise, how could they give it so freely to everyone else? Every time somebody would tell them how great they are, they said, I am awesome. Thank you. Just like you. Or my friend Swami Beyondananda says it beautifully. Are y'all any Swami Beyondananda fans here? Okay, he's a comedic guru. You know, he's a yogi from Oklahoma. He's a yogi from Muskogee. and he says, do you realize that you, Barry, are an absolute, individualized, unique expression of God?
Absolutely.
Just like everyone else. We're so unique, just like everyone else. Isn't that awesome? When you love yourself, you are not conceited. When you don't love yourself, conceit is your compensation for that lack of self-love. Okay, so if somebody's conceited, oh, they're so full of themselves. No, they're not full of themselves enough. Okay? Because when you really love yourself, you see your divine, perfect expression, and you see it in everyone else. Okay? That's not conceit, really. Conceit is, I'm awesome and you're not. You see? I'm better than you. And I'm better than you is never because you feel better than someone. It's because you feel small and you're trying to compensate for that small feeling. So, there is no such thing as rejection, okay? Somebody may reject you, but that's their rejection. It's not that you were rejected, okay? There are so many wonderful opportunities to see that. Anybody ever had a job that they got fired from and it sent them exactly where they needed to be? We were foolish enough to go on America's Got Talent. Now,
That was some big rejection.
they rejected us. But it was only 15 million people that saw it.
Yeah, no big deal.
And what's funny is Angelina, I'm telling a little story about you, I probably never told this. Her whole life, one of Angelina's biggest concerns and what she made sure never happened is that she would be embarrassed in front of other people. So she always played it very safe.
Right, because I wanted to look perfect, you know, and be perfect. And
Let me
they
just
definitely.
tell you, you're about as close as it gets.
Oh, well.
Just
Well,
saying.
what I said a couple of years ago, thank you, is that I'm going to stop that because trying to always be perfect is exhausting. And I just don't want to do that anymore. So I still have that, you know, I haven't mastered that yet, but I'm working on it.
But the AGT thing was kind of awesome because her biggest fear was that if that ever happened, she would let down the world and it would be over. And I said, honey, 15 million people saw us get rejected. You can let that go because let me tell you something. We all have dragons, and that was her dragon. We all have dragons. I have lots more than she does. But we all have our dragons. And one of the greatest ways to work through them is to greet them face on. Now, you didn't do it intentionally thinking it was going to turn out that way, but it
and
did.
I really got the message, the guidance that we're supposed to do this. I thought because it was going to help our career or be something great for us. I didn't realize it was going to be such a personal learning for myself. So it's been years. I had to really lick those wounds and be okay with what happened. But I am now over the other side of that. But it's really, we were supposed to do it so I could let go
Absolutely.
of my wanting to be perfect all the time.
And Michael Singer, in his book, The Untethered Soul, talks about it as thorns. That we get these thorns as children usually, and those thorns, they're really uncomfortable. So what we figure out how to do is we figure out how to cover them up. And maybe we even heal a little bit of them over time. But they're still there. And then a situation comes along and pushes that thorn into your nerve. And it hurts. And our first reaction is, you jerk. Whoever touched that thorn, we want to blame them. But again, they're supporting us in a weird way to find out where they are so we can take them out a little more. So one of my biggest dragons was that, and Wayne Dyer said this years ago, and I heard it, but it didn't go into my heart. I heard, if you are what you do, then when you don't, you aren't. Has anybody ever heard that? If you are what you do, then when you don't, you aren't. And I always thought, well, I'm not what I do. This is part of what I do, but it's not who I am. And then what I do went away for 15 months, and I aren't. That's how I felt. I felt I aren't anymore. Where is it? And there was a lot of reasons. Number one, it was a wonderful source of joy and love and dopamine. And when I found out through this work that I had untreated ADHD, now anybody that's known me for about 3 minutes goes, duh. I mean, I remember her mom years ago, and this is before I knew that I had really an issue. I just thought it was like a hair color or a personality thing. And I said, and I did something really wild and crazy in front of her mom, like usual. And I said, I have a bit of ADHD. And her mom, who had worked with children, went, no, really? And I guess I should have gotten it then, but I didn't. But what happened is when I didn't have this career for 15 months, it was still there, but it went on a great pause. Then all of the symptoms of the HD got magnified, of the ADHD. Now, the new term for ADHD does not have the word disability in it. Can I get an amen? Because none of us have a disability, really. We just have a different ability.
Well, okay? What do you call that? A superpower?
A superpower. So when I meet, thank you. So when I meet kids that have some kind of a superpower, I'll usually say, you got some kind of a superpower, don't you? And they'll say, yeah. And then I go, awesome. They say, it's a superpower? I say, yeah, it's a superpower. But like Elsa in Frozen, who had a superpower, she also had to learn to manage it because it was dangerous too. With great responsibility, with great power comes great responsibility. And we all have superpowers. Now, the new term for ADHD, and I hope we get new terms for everything, is VAST, V-A-S-T. That stands for Variable Attention Stimulus Trait. And that covers ADD, ADHD, and all you vast wannabes. Because we all are on every spectrum, okay? Trust me. We are all on every spectrum to some extent, less or more, okay? Sometimes, like Angelina and I are so different, but every once in a while I said, that was kind of ADD because you started talking to me about something and you saw something, walked out of the room. So we're all on the spectrum. Squirrel! We're all on the spectrum. I just found out something from Jerry. Those aren't chipmunks. They are desert squirrels. But they sure look like little gray chipmunks. But anyway, variable attention stimulus trait. Now, Angelina was like, well, now you have this new term for you. And I want a new bunch of letters. And I thought about it. I said, let me think about what's happened with her in the last 15 months. She has OCPC. That's obsessive compulsive project condition.
Yes, I love doing projects, and I didn't really realize that till we were home for those 15 months. So I'm always doing a project, and I'm always busy, busy, busy. And so it's a good thing for me to look at, am I busy, how busy, and what am I maybe not looking at because I want to do another project or whatever, or why am I so tired? Probably because I'm, doing so many projects. But I will say the great pause is what I like to call the COVID time for me, even though it did feel like we're talking about rejection. It definitely felt rejection as all these gigs that Armand had 9 months booked, and we are actually in Texas, Mesa, Arizona, and they slowly, even while we're on the road, were being canceled. So we went home, and it just broke my heart to see all this work that Armand put through to get the gigs, and they were all canceling. Well, for me, it was a really important thing for me to be home that amount of time because I'm an introvert, and so the best way for me to recharge is to be by myself. And so we, for 20 years, have been very, very busy on the road, and I'm always feeling not enough time at home, not enough time at home. I don't have time to do this and this, projects, and clean the house or like clean out the garage and this kind of stuff. And so when we were home, I got to really have downtime, have the house all in order, and I had a lump in my throat for like 3-4 years And so I went to the doctor because obviously I was a little concerned being a singer, and there was nothing with my vocal cords. But the lump is called a global sensatus. And it's basically, they don't really know what causes it, but they say a lot of times it's stress and anxiety related. And so as I was home all that time, the lump is no longer in my throat. And I am just so grateful for that. So, and it was an indication that I was a little too stressed and had a lot of anxiety. So I feel now that we're back on the road, it feels like a new me. Like I'm not like, oh my gosh, we're on the road for a month. Am I going to be okay being on the road for a month? I'm not home, my cat, blah, blah, blah. And I'm feeling really good right now because I had all that downtime to take care of me. And so I'm really grateful. I know it wasn't a fun time for a lot of people, but for me, I really am grateful because I needed that, and I wouldn't have had that if we weren't forced to do that.
And one of our challenges, because we're so opposite in so many ways, is trying to find a balance, you know. And whenever she guides me away from where I would, you know, kind of sort of instinctually go, I feel more balanced and I feel better. I do resist. But what happens is I realized that without doing some research and learning about my vast condition and getting some different supplements and even some pharmaceutical medicines that helped me to get balanced, I realized that one of the reasons that I had us working 270 days a year on the road in the old days. Now, she did, you know, put her foot down a few years ago and said, I can't do this as much. And I started to pull back and went down to 250. But anyway, but one of the reasons that it was such a drive for me is I was getting so many happy drugs from doing this. Going to national parks, going to zoos, going to aquariums, seeing people we love, staying with our friends, hanging out with Jerry, looking at Roadrunners, things like that. Those things were feeding me, and because I was depleted in my brain and deficient, I was constantly getting them met at my beautiful bride's expense, some of it. Now, the challenge also was she loves it, and she loves all of this too.
I do. It's
so
really
she never stopped. She never said no until later on when the throat thing happened. She says, "We got it." One day, this is how I knew there was an issue. She said, "Armand," in a very deep voice, even God rested one day a week. She did say that. Because I was the type of person that we were either at a church or at a national park, and that was me compensating for low dopamine. So I found supplements. I found a new thing called mucunu, which is like a Peruvian herb like maca root that helps replace dopamine. I also found this thing that I hadn't had for years. I can say it. Caffeine. I was caffeine phobic my whole life because I was raised by a pharma-shamer. If you know what a pharma-shamer is, they're against anything that you don't just get from the air, especially anything pharmaceutical. Now, I'm not saying you have to take every drug offered to you, but you don't want to shame people for getting what they need. If somebody is a type 1 diabetic and they need insulin, you don't go, well, you know, you could pray that away. People do that. And so I was afraid of caffeine. I was afraid of any kind of a pharmaceutical thing. I was afraid it was going to kill me. And I avoided it. And yet a little caffeine throughout the day. And I'm not trying to fall asleep all the time. And if I'm not trying to fall, I'm like a narcoleptic. If I'm not trying to fall asleep all the time, I don't have to constantly tell my wife where we're going to go so we can play. So Armand can be happy. And so this is all things that felt like rejection and was actually guiding me to a different direction, okay? I don't know where this came from, but you were talking a little bit about Angelina Angelina especially got this great idea after being home a month or so. She goes, I got to do something fun. I got to do a new project. I want to do a video now and then. We're going to call it In Bed with Armand and Angelina. I thought, that's hot. It wasn't what it wasn't. It was basically just us getting up in the morning, her reading the daily word, me playing the flute, and just let people know what our thought for the day was. That kind of thing. And we would do it in our bed with the computer and just kind of stay connected to people. And so she did that and then and put it on Facebook, and then a whole bunch of people wrote, oh my God, I need this every day. don't tell my wife you need something every day. Please, just don't write her. So she said, we got to do this every day. And for like 4 months, every single day there was another video. It was in bed with Armand and Angelina, in the kitchen with Armand and Angelina, in the garage, at the beach. We just did videos of wherever we were. By the way, it's all on YouTube. There are 100 of them, I think. Anyway, and so one of them was... she decided, she says, I'm going to create something called the Universal Diner.
Oh, right.
Let's dress up like we're working at like a
drive-through
window. And she took these little plastic spoons and she taped them to her face, so that was our little microphone. And so I would go, hello, welcome to the Universal Diner. May I take your order? And then we would just make an order, and then I would look to see if it was on the menu. So one day, I don't know why she said this, but do you remember what you said?
No, I don't
about
remember.
what we needed in a room in our house?
Oh, right. So one of the requests for the Universal Diner was that we wanted to have a music room so that we can do videos and Zooms in a nice room that's all set up with our music, and we can go there and work on music and new songs and all that. But the Universal Diner said it wasn't available at this time, but to check back a little later and see if it's available.
So, because it was a big expense, like $30,000 to build this music room. But what it would do is it would free up our guest bedroom that we had turned into a Zoom room to do church services and things like that. She wanted her guest bedroom back. The living room had a harp in it. Our bedroom had djembes and drums. Our house had music stuff everywhere. She just wanted to put there. And I thought, well, that's a great vision that'll probably never happen, but that's awesome that you put it out there. The next day, this is weird. Next day, I look in my checking account, and there's $33,000 in there that I didn't have the day before. Well, what had happened is in early April, I had applied for a business loan through the Small Business Association. I just filled out the paperwork and just let go of it and hoped. And there it was. He said, you've gotten a small business loan. I said, that is going to build that place. Now, what we didn't know at the time was $33,000 worth of stuff in 2019 was going to be $45,000 to do it during COVID.
Right.
So we've had a whole bunch more rejection from contractors and supply and demand to get it.
And have to wait to get it, right?
We didn't break ground for a year after that because we couldn't get it to work, and it's still not done. They started doing it in August of 2021, and it's still not done, but it's getting closer. Again, it's all working out. We needed an extra $5,000 for some other expenses that we didn't expect to have. The next day, our house started flooding.
Because of the construction. They actually didn't tarp it. They were working on the roof part of it, and they didn't tarp it up correctly, and we had a major, major storm, and there's water not just dripping into the house, like pouring into the house. So I grabbed Armand, he was upstairs, and I said, come quick, we have a problem here. And we're like, sopping up the water and trying to control it. We're pulling the carpet back because it's on the carpet.
insane.
We're moving furniture.
And what did I say?
You said,
I said, Alexa, play OK in the End by Armand and Angelina.
That's right.
Because I needed to hear that song at that moment. And Angelina, who's the queen of making lemonade from lemons.
Right, because Armand said, let's just make lemonade out of this. Well, I didn't have lemons, so I decided to make margaritas and have limeade instead. So
she made margaritas out of lime. That's how you do it. So we just decided to start doing it. And she goes, bring the shop vac in now. We had about 100 gallons of water coming to our home. And she brought the shop vac in. We brought the shop vac in. We're using that. I learned how to do something I haven't done a lot, which is a quick spin cycle in a dryer. Quick spin cycle in a dryer. 20 or 30 towels, drying them. And we just were moving it. The music was happening. And that may seem like, well, that kind of sucks, right? Because the next day we were going out of town. If we had gone to that Unity Church one day earlier,
right.
we don't know what would have happened to all our furniture.
Right.
But because we were there, we spent about 8 hours pulling stuff up, putting fans on it, soaking it all up. Everything was pretty salvaged. There were some challenges, but it was all usable. Right. The carpet and everything was all usable. There was some damage to the wall and the drywall and stuff like that. But there was about $500 worth of damage. But there was $5,500 worth of stuff that was covered by the insurance. I told them, I said, we fixed this. We're going to make this work. He goes, it doesn't matter if you're going to make it work. Your policy says full replacement for anything that's potentially damaged. There was our $5,000. I never made $5,000 in 8 hours of drinking margaritas. That was awesome. But again, you see things look like they're rejection. Okay, here's a great example of what looks like a rejection, and typically, I would say 99 times out of 100 works out really great. Anybody ever been divorced? Anybody know that that divorce led them to a person that was much better for them? Boom!
All right.
Boom! There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Shazam! Okay, we were both married before. Okay, she calls her ex her husband. Thank you. I call mine my past wife, because sometimes I have a past wife experience. Yeah. Sometimes she has a past father experience, you know, it's like something I'll do. She goes, my dad used to do that, please don't do that. And I'll go, I'll do Darth Vader. Look, I'm not your father. We just have fun all the time. It's weird. Okay, so I listened to that line years ago. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. And I realized not only is that a very important thing, just another tool in my Unity toolbox to keep me from disappointment, okay? That doesn't mean you know it, where it's guiding you. It doesn't mean that it isn't painful to go through divorce or getting fired from a job or having 100 gallons of water come into your home or being humiliated in front of 15 million people. Is it too soon? Okay, or having your expenses go up on your project and still having construction workers in your house all the time. It doesn't mean those aren't uncomfortable and painful things.
And we're not saying that you should deny what that's feeling. So if you're upset, angry, sad, it's okay to have, you need to have that. Because like that song last night, I said, if you don't let it out, there's not the freedom because you're keeping everything like this. So you just, what do you always say with that?
I always say it's fine to go into grief and anger, just don't buy property there. Okay, so you can move back out of it. You just don't live there, and you move through it, and everything always does work out. What did our wonderful daily word reader? This too shall pass. Okay, it all works out. Everything will be okay in the end. And the tools are for us to get there in consciousness before we physically and emotionally can see what's happening. Honor the physical, emotional part that's struggling. Bail water, okay? But know in your consciousness that this too shall pass. Everything will be okay in the end. It's all in divine order. And there's no such thing as rejection, just God pointing us in another direction. So I decided to write a pirate song. And it goes like this. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Na, 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 na. Oi! Can you do that with me? Where's our pirates? We got some pirates out there? Okay. All right, we got a few pirates.
Do you have a pirate joke or two, Armand?
How many letters are in the pirate alphabet? There's actually one R, two I's, and the 7 C's. Y'all are good. All right, so we're going to sing this song. We hope you will sing it with us. That will be the end of this part of the service, the message. And let's do it. I'll save my favorite pirate song for the end. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. It's never rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Oh! Na, 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 na. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. It's never rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Na, 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 na. On the day that I was born and slapped upon my cheeks, that I would ascertain this world is rather bleak. But I heard a voice of wisdom and in my ear would ring, don't think the world is against you, there's no such thing. Don't think the world is against you, cause there's no such thing. You're trying, na, 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 na. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. It's never rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Na, 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 na. At an early age, I knew true love would be my quest. Though many trials and tribulations put me to the test. There were a dozen lovely maidens, much heartache they would bring. I thought the world was against me, but there's no such thing. I thought the world was against me, but there's no such thing. Your turn. There's no such thing as rejection. Just God pointing us in another direction. It's never rejection. Just God pointing us in another direction. Na, 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 na. Through my renaissance into my middle ages, becoming fully realized. I trust my inner sages. My quest is done, I found my bride. This holy grail I bring. The world is never against you. There's no such thing. The world is never against us. There's no such thing. Oi! Na, 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 na. What's a pirate's favorite letter? You'd think it was R, but we fancy the C. Thank you. Awesome. Wow. We promise to come back.
Next week.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Oh gosh, how do you follow that? I've got tears in my eyes from just laughing and so much joy. So, what a blessing. You guys, oh yeah, okay. They're promoting our Unity Bingo St. Patrick's Day Bash, which is this afternoon. And you guys are going to play bingo, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
We just want to take a moment to welcome anyone who is here for the first time. We do have a welcome gift, so if you just raise your hand, we won't put you on the spot. We just have a welcome packet for you. So if you're here for the first time, let us know, and Kathy will bring you a welcome packet. So no one's here for the first time.
Just one. Man, please give our regular ministers a second chance and come back next week.
Yay, yes. All right, and then we do have a moment here that we would like to take to just offer you a chance to give back, all right? You've been in this mode of receiving this morning, so we invite you to say our love gift affirmation together. Today, I give freely, without expectations, aware that as I give, I receive beyond measure from a benevolent universe. Today, I open to receive what is being offered, aware of my gratitude and the love which radiates from my heart back into the circle of life. I am both the giver and the receiver of a loving Creator. And so this is our sharing time. Did you guys want to do a little short song while we're in that process?
By the way, in our travels, this center is one of the most generously supportive of what we do every single time. Yes. I would say about 4 times the size of the crowd that we have here is the consciousness of how well we're supported. So thank you for that. Love, make me an instrument of your peace. Love, make me an instrument of your peace. Love, make me an instrument of your peace.
Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is century pardon. Where there is doubt, let me sow faith. Where there's despair,
Love, make me an instrument of your peace. Join us, please. Love, make me an instrument of your peace. Love, make me an instrument of your peace. Awesome.
Wow. So let us take a moment to bless the gifts and to bless the gift that these folks have been for us last night and again this morning. So just join me in going into your heart space and imagine holding the people that you appreciate there in your heart as we just give thanks to whatever is the God of your understanding, Spirit, God, all that is. So many words for just that one divine presence in all of us and expressing everywhere. And so for all of that and for you, we give thanks today. And so it is. Amen. And just a couple of announcements. We do have our online activities during the week. So on Tuesday evening, there is a change because the person who is facilitating that group is in another time zone. So her time has changed. That means our time has changed. So we'll be meeting at 5 o'clock for A Course in Miracles on Tuesdays. We still have our guided meditation on Wednesdays at 6. All of this is online. We have no other functions during the week here in this space. We just have Sundays here. And then on Thursday, the study group for the Path of the Heart, A Course of Love, that's Thursdays at 4 p.m. And then finally on Fridays, we have Kirtan with Madhavaida, and that is at 5 o'clock online. That we've been doing it at 6, but with the time change, that is now also at 5. One other quick note, we'll be having our Spring Parkway cleanup very soon. We haven't determined a date yet, but be looking for that date. We'll send it in an email. We'll get it on Facebook. That's coming up the end of this month, beginning of April. It's time to get out there and do our 2 miles of the Parkway. And I think that's it.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're excited to be here for bingo. And we also are reminding you again, we made a mention last night, but that Chili's is serving their $7, $8 margaritas on 3/13 for $3.13 today. So we think that we're going to go and celebrate. And if we win a whole bunch of bingo money, we'll buy you all a drink. No, anyway, either way. Okay, so thanks again for having us. We're going to sing a song from the musical Godspell. This is Day by Day. Oh, dear Lord, three things I pray. Now, the word Lord is a loaded word because a lot of people know it as a word of condemnation and things like that, and a judgmental God. We don't have that word as a judgmental word. The word also means teacher. So when you say the word Lord, just know teacher. And we all have lots of teachers, and Jesus to me was the master way shower teacher. So yes, Jesus would be a Lord to me. Okay. Oh, one other thing. Angelina's a Lord too. And I'll tell you why. I bought her 1 square foot of land in Scotland. And I forgot to tell him it was a girl, so she is Lord Angelina. And we have the certificate to prove it. I bow to your feet. That's my Lord. First time I've been this sexually attracted to a Lord. Okay, go ahead. All right, go ahead. All right, do whatever it is you do. Day by day. Day by day, oh dear Lord, three things I pray. To see thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day. Let's do it again, oh yeah. Day by day,
Day by day,
day by
day
day.
by day by.
Oh, dear Lord, three things I pray.
Things I pray.
To see thee more clearly,
Day by day,
love thee more dearly,
day by day.
follow thee more nearly, day by day. Okay, where's our disco queens and kings out there? Day by day.
Day by day,
Day by
day
day.
by day by.
Oh, dear Lord, three things I pray.
Things I pray.
To see thee more clearly,
Day by day,
love thee more dearly, see thee more clearly,
day by day,
love thee more dearly,
day by day.
follow thee more nearly, day by day, day by day by, day by day by, day by day by, day by day by, day. All right. Let's sing the prayer of protection, because when we speak it, we pray once, but when we sing it, we pray twice. I think we might even have words somewhere. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are guided, and all is well. We're going to try to do it this way. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God is more. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the presence of the power. The presence of God watches. We are the presence of forever. We are guided, and all is well. Good golly, wherever we are guided, and all, and this is our treatment. Wherever we are guided, and all is well. Woo! Thank you, live people. Thank you, people on Zoom and Facebook and everything else. Hallelujah. Happy trails. Just like Walt Disney World, we have a souvenir shop located conveniently at the end of the road.
Happy trail.